I'm sharing a channeled message with you about what happens after the crash. I'm Ann Tucker, and this is the Spirit Means Business YouTube channel. And today's message is going to be several different pieces to it, mostly about what's going to happen after the crash. So we're talking about what happens to cities, what's it going to be like when there are more angels among us, as well as what happens with the markets and government after the crash. So some really, really interesting messages that I received, and I will share those with you now. If you want to see more videos like this, please don't forget to like this video and then subscribe using that little button in the corner. And if you hit that notification bell, then you'll be notified whenever I upload a new one. So I'm doing these videos regularly. As I receive information, I'm sharing it with you. So make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out. All right, so here is the messages I received, and I am a trance channel. I channel from the angelic realm, and the way I do that is I raise my awareness up as high as I can, and then I go a little higher, and then I feel a pressure that comes down over my head, like being at the bottom of a pool, and then the messages start, and I transcribe those. Oddly enough, when I'm transcribing them, it sounds like gobbledygook to me, and then when I come out of it and I look at it, I have really amazing communication to share. So anyways, I will go ahead and let you know what they're saying for today. They say, what can we see? We are inspired by the opportunity, and by the way, as I'm starting this, some of this message is from a challenge that I'm doing right now on my Facebook group, on the Spirit Means Business Facebook group. I started this challenge to inspire people to start thinking about what life will be like after this great awakening, right? What is it going to be like, so that we can start holding that vision in our mind? So I'm sharing part of the message I shared. I got a specific channel message for that group, and I'm sharing part of that with you here as well. What can we see? We are inspired by the opportunity to feel and see a difference for mankind. Less strife, more love. There will be an easier passage through life. It will be complicated at times, yes. It will hold you enthralled in context. And what they mean by that is that the context of our daily lives keeps us busy and keeps us enthralled, as they say, so that we get distracted by, the challenges of making life work here. Sometimes challenging and often perturbing. You can find much joy in being on the planet. You can find joy in being with and for one another. You have such capacity to love. We beseech you on this in today's conversation, and I'm talking here, this is from my challenge. In my challenge today, we broke out in groups and we had conversation. So that's what they're speaking to. As you imagine what may be possible, to awaken internal visions of grand celestial union, of God upon the shores of your planet, of all seeking the light. Yes, it may come, because we will be there with you, holding anew this grace to be felt by many, to be seen by those who open to the experience. So what they're saying is that as we step into, as our vibration is rising up and the veil becomes thinner between our world and the next, that angels will be more among us, and that people will actually begin to have their own individual experience of angels. That yes, I communicate with them right now, but that's not going to become a rare thing. Like everybody's going to start having these experiences, which is going to be pretty cool, awesome, pretty awesome from my perspective, because it's not always easy to tell people that I'm channeling angels. So it'll become a much more normal thing, I think. What changes must come from the experience of God, and I use God, that's my word, so that's how they speak to me, but please substitute your word, upon one's own hand. The touch excruciating and delightful, it is both at once to awaken those without opportunities to see otherwise. We will be among these wishing to be seen. So they're saying that they'll physically make their presence felt. With people who might not be able to see otherwise, they're gonna find a way through this greater contact to make people aware of their presence. So here they're going to start talking about what life is like in cities coming forward. They're saying, in your city, you may find much difference. There will be less of a population, less crush and bustle. More peace reigns because all are not rushing here and there. They are content to be home. They wish for more time, fall away from old patterns of rushing to be here, to be pursuing things that are not solidly in your benefit. These patterns die away because all cannot resist the pull of spirit. It lures them out from behind the safe protection, fortified, that they have created in their minds of reason and logic and reality. They are drawn forward by their undeniable experience of spirit. It can be astounding, miraculous, opening, widening, so that there is space through which comes your invitation to be healing. And this is speaking to the group today that I worked with was mostly healers. So this is a time of introspection when all begin to wonder if that which they have pursued makes sense, if they are not better served by service themselves. To help another brings such great offerings of peace and self-love. So I think that's a beautiful message. All right, so this next section goes on, and they say, do you wish to know more of the details? And I said, yes, I do. So then they went on with some more details here for us. They say, it has to be told that there will be treaties to develop between parties who can reveal their soft reluctance to shadow their costly debt. So here we're talking about what's going to happen. I've said in previous videos that we're looking at a stock market crash, and that there's going to be a period of where debt is an issue. And so they're saying, and I think this is government debt, what we're talking about here. They say, and that they're saying there's going to be treaties that develop because of this debt. They must find in another the partnership to divide their pain and suffering so that they may continue to breathe as a nation. So not able to really make it on their own, they have to divide the pain and suffering, divide the debt, right? So that they can continue to breathe as a nation. This occurs when all have found their last hand sunk. So there's no other option. Yes, it becomes necessary to find friends outside who can elevate the economy to lift the struggle, who have resources yet untapped. So feel the possibility of these new alliances of peace to wipe away competitive struggle that interfered with the development of prosperity. So this is pretty cool, actually. It's not great that we're going to go through a very difficult time, but what's amazing about it is we're saying, okay, through this process of this difficult struggle that comes, and this, when as I said, the last hand has sunk, when there's no other option, we open up to having treaties with other nations. And, where people other nations where they still have resources yet untapped, where, and they might come in to help bail us out, which is, but that opens us up to a new but kind of prosperity. They say it will be another kind of treaty, one with residual forces. Nations remain sovereign, but separate no longer. They conspire to assign complicated difficulty. So I think that last sentence is huge about nations remain sovereign, but separate no longer. That there's residual forces. So there's ways in which, because of this, that we get bailed out, there's ways in which we are maybe held. Like, it makes me think of the Marshall Plan, where there was assistance with conditions. So I'm not sure what those conditions might be, but it sounds very benevolent here. It sounds like it's something that leads us into a place where there's, sovereign, where we're sovereign but not separate. And as they go on, you'll see that actually has a lot of benefits. They conspire to assign complicated difficulty. Debt reigns upon the heads of state who wish to find some way to relieve its oppression. It must be found in the hands of friends who offer help in exchange for worthy, unencumbered grievance. And that's a complicated one, worthy, unencumbered grievance. I'm not really sure what, there's something that they want in return for this, right? And in return for helping. Something unencumbered with debt. Yes, the people all want more time to assign creditors their due, but when all is upended, there's not much one can do to refinance. It is just too late and all hurt under this new restriction. So the fact that the restriction meaning, and I mentioned this in a previous channeling, that the banks are closed, that there's no liquidity in the market. You can't move money, you can't borrow money after this happens, after the market crash. And if you haven't got those videos, I have 2 previous videos on the U.S. economy, and those are the ones to watch. And I can put links down below in the description. There is no option. So when banks can't move, the clerks are still, their way forward is blocked, they must ask for assistance. So they're saying all this is going to happen after they've shut the banks and money can't move and there's no liquidity. Then they have to ask for assistance. And then there are entrants who come to help, to be propping up the system for all. And it's not the people's own leader. No, it's another. You can find this intriguing, the possibility of nations developing interreliance so that borders are more meaningless, so that you can find prosperity once more. but know that there is coming. So this is the great news, that we can find prosperity once more, this opening of borders in a way that the nations are still sovereign, but there's something that's changed, significantly changed. But know there is coming another time of struggle. And they're saying this, that the angels never want to cause us fear. They if they're giving us a warning ever, it's just so that we can be prepared, so that we can sort of know what's on the horizon, and so that we can prepare ourselves, but always to understand it in the context. So all of this is moving us towards a time of enlightenment, and to when things, as I said in the beginning, that life will be much easier. So it's really important to keep that in mind, especially as they're saying that another time of struggle is coming, because there is a point to it and a purpose to it. And they do say over and over again that we're going to be fine. We are not through all. The worst may yet happen. So be attuned and aware. There are times ahead during which you will wonder if all this is necessary to complete the transformation we seek. And yes, we say yes. It must pass in this fashion for the benefit of all, to be aligned once more with the God energy you desire. It will be possible, but know that there are many more days ahead in which you may not know the outcome. There will be some security, to be sure. You will have proven ways of procuring your livelihood. So that's the full message, and that's a doozer. There's some incredibly fascinating information in there from my perspective, about the changes in terms of our borders, remaining sovereign but not. It brings up some interesting questions, but gives us a lot of answers as well. So anyways, I hope this has been helpful and informative for you. Like I said, I will keep sharing these messages as I get them. So make sure you don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And you can turn on the little notification bell if you don't want to miss a video. And you can join me in my Spirit Means Business Facebook group. So I'm live there every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. And like I said, right now we're running this amazing challenge. And the people that are participating in it are just blowing my mind with what they're contributing. We're in the process of envisioning what the future will be. And the angels have specifically said, please help us do this, because the energies are here on the planet, but what it turns into is up to us. We, through our, we are creative powers. What we are creative beings. And so we take that energy, and we, through our thoughts and our emotions, our beliefs, we are creating this reality. So they're wanting us to help hold this really positive vision for what things will be in the future. So that's what we're practicing doing in this group. And you're welcome. If you're just catching this today, I'm filming this on Monday, the 27th of July. And if you're catching this now, there's still time to come in and join in. If not, I will probably run it again in the future to catch anybody else who'd like to join in and do it again, because I think it's a really useful exercise. Anyways, thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you again here soon. Thank you.